I am Trevor Rosenthal, and there is crying in baseball.
Hey Criers, I'm Haley.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Sarah Ann, and we are here breaking the age-old myth and showing you that there is crying in baseball. Welcome back to another episode of There Is Crying in Baseball. Hello, girls. How are you?
Hello.
Hi. How are you,
Rachel's
Haley?
singing.
Oh, gosh.
Rachel's
she
singing.
did. She's singing. She's
Singing.
happy today. Okay, I'm always in a good mood when I record with you guys.
Aw.
Oh, we love that.
How are you guys doing? Haley, how's your week?
Honestly, it was just one of those weeks where it felt like everything went wrong.
Oh.
Oh, no.
I got a haircut on Wednesday. I was very excited to get my haircut. Kind of spur of the moment, as you know.
Very
I decided,
spontaneous,
like,
yes.
Very
the day
spontaneous.
Which I think was sparked by me sending a joke picture of me and Banks
Yeah.
to our
Haley,
group.
and she fell for it, and it looked good. But I was like, wait a second. I do not think that is real. I had to double check.
When I look back at it, I'm like, it looks like you drew it on each
Yes.
individual.
Yeah, it was a
hair.
Snapchat filter.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, I kind of halfway wanted to get bangs last fall, but I didn't fully commit, and so I just felt inspired. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. So I went to this place that my boss goes to, and my boss has some money, so I'm like, this place is nice.
Okay,
They're gonna do a good job. No, one side has more hair that was cut than the other side, and one side is a little bit shorter than the other side.
Oh, no.
I'm like, what was she doing to
Are you
my
talking
hair?
about your bangs are like that, or your actual hair at the
My
bottom is like that?
bangs.
Oh, no.
So my bangs are here on one side and down here on another, and then this side has more face framing pieces than the other side.
Oh, Haley.
This is what happened to me at
no.
Great Clips, and you went to an upscale place.
Oh, I'm about to go to Great Clips to have them fix it.
That's what I was gonna say. Might as well just go. Oh no! Did you?
I'm scared to see how much I spent on this
Tell
haircut.
us.
Don't
Tell
say
us. No, tell me right now.
$90. Yeah.
That's brutal.
So
That's brutal, man.
I'm apparently you can go back and do complimentary bang trims in between haircuts. So I'm kind
that's
of
nice.
should I go back and have her
Well,
fix it, or is she gonna make it worse?
Even without complimentary bang trims or whatever it's going to be called technically for them, I think they should fix a crappy job.
For sure.
I know.
Great
I'm
Clips
just scared.
A lot of
Great
places
Clips
do.
corrected my crappy haircut for free.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
my
if you
haircut
just
was
go in and
$12.
tell them. If you
I'm
just go in and tell them.
I hate being that person that's
I do too.
I don't like this, but also I'm
That's
it's
your
more than
hair,
I just don't
though.
like it. It's
It's wrong.
not right.
Yeah.
And see,
No,
I
it's
had
wrong.
I had the luck of getting a different person, so she was like, "Yeah, what did she do to your hair?" She
might
totally
ask,
saw what I saw.
I wonder
And
if I can request someone else.
You probably can.
I'm sure you can.
And
Okay.
I'm sure
I
you can.
I did the fake out at checkout, and she's like, "Oh, there's no charge." I'm like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" I didn't want to pay. I didn't expect to pay, but
Of course.
pretended like I was going to. But they were like, "No, it needs to get fixed." So
Yeah. So that happened.
poor thing.
Womp. I'm so sorry.
And then I ordered a hat that I've been waiting on for a week and a half, and then I get literally just the package. Someone had stolen it out of the package, and then on the package, I think it was USPS put a sticker that said, "We're sorry, it looks like your item was stolen." And they taped the bag up. Yes. There's this little thing that they taped on there that's
Oh my
so
gosh.
sorry for this. It looks like I don't know what, but it's basically checked the box that said, "Looks like it was stolen." And I'm like, oh.
That is the
That's
most
nice.
bizarre thing that I've ever heard. They just delivered
Yeah.
it like that anyway.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's
Someone
an
in our
bag.
Here's
warehouse
a bag.
stole
That's
from you.
Wild.
So
Well, at least it was our merch, so our merch is just out there floating
That's
around.
true.
somebody's wearing our hat.
That is true. Oh my god, that's so
So
funny.
that's been a summary of my exciting week. But
Wow.
yeah,
I'm really sorry to hear that.
it's okay. It's okay.
Goodness.
Sarah, how was your week?
Mine was also kind of it felt like everything going wrong, but nothing super specific. It was just a really difficult week at work. Everyone was just frustrated and annoyed, and Yeah, so it was a long week. I did get news that I did not get picked for the Savannah Banana Lottery tickets.
Oh.
They were out here in Peoria, which is just like I guess a suburb of Phoenix, last night. And then I think the one I had signed up for was either in Mesa or Tempe in like April. And so my friend had signed up for the Peoria one. She didn't get into the lottery. I signed up for the other one. I didn't get into the lottery. So womp womp.
Boo.
Bummer.
Yeah. But I didn't mention this last time we talked. I did get my Justin Timberlake concert tickets for May. So that's
Yes,
exciting.
you
Yes.
I'm just
For May. You said May?
thriving. Yeah.
Oh, nice. He's
It's
coming
gonna
to
be
India
May.
in December.
Oh, no, I am very excited for that. Yeah, I signed a lease on a new place, so I'm going to be moving here pretty soon.
Yay.
Really excited.
Yes.
So, yeah, just all the things, nothing crazy.
Good for
just
you.
Living my
Good for
30-year-old
you.
dream.
Sounds incredible.
I know. It's always my recaps are always just succinct to the point. I do nothing ever. Someone sent me a text, was like, "Oh, I've only gotten out of bed twice today to go to the bathroom. Is this what your weekends are like?" And I'm like, I know I seem like
Oh
a
my
boring
gosh.
loser, but I do things. I don't just sit in bed.
That seems
But
really hateful
yeah.
for no reason.
I know. I am boring. I admit it. I own it, but whatever.
Same. It's fine. It's fine.
How was your week, Rach?
My week actually was really good. I'm normally the one with all the boring stories, but this weekend, the NBA All-Star Weekend is in my city going on right now.
Ooh.
So it's been so fun. It's been really crazy. Obviously we've had a really craziness at work, but it's been a really good time. We knew that we were going to be working all weekend. So on Thursday night, we went out and did some all-star type things. So there was actually a live taping of Woj's podcast, and he interviewed the one and the only, my shirt, Tyrese Halliburton, Pacers superstar.
I love that for you.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. So they did a live taping with him and Grant Hill, actually. So we went there and we didn't really know what to expect. It was at the Vogue Theater, but it was so intimate, and they were just like up sitting on a couch, and there was only probably 100 people there, but there's seats, and I thought it was just going to be a big like standing room only room with hundreds of people, but it was really intimate, and it was just so cool. And we obviously love podcasts, so it was really exciting to listen. They catered in free food too.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I know. And they didn't tell us that beforehand. So I was like, oh my gosh. So that was so much fun. So we did that. We also walked around downtown Indianapolis. We explored the city a lot. They've done so much construction, and they have, lights and banners and all of the pictures and everything up for All-Star Weekend. They also had a bunch of local Black artists come in, and they painted murals all throughout the city, which have been so beautiful, and I hope honestly that those stay forever.
Yeah.
I think it just brings so much color and life into the city, and I think Indy definitely needs that. That is one of the big things that I like about Cincinnati. There's just so much color and everything everywhere, so I hope that continues. There was also lots of pop-up shops, all of like the big sneaker companies coming in, put in a bunch of pop-up stores. They had interactive NBA experiences, light shows, photo ops, everything. It was so cool. Yeah, I know. It was really fun. Air Jordan set up a shop in the mall right next door to where we work. And the rumor is that Michael Jordan's been there all weekend. I don't know. I didn't go, so I didn't see. So that maybe I'm just spreading rumors, but I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, that's a harmless rumor to spread. I say spread it.
Yeah,
that's true. You're right. There were lots of celebrities though. Lil Wayne, MGK, T-Pain, and DJ Shaq Diesel. They were all had concerts here.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Hey, yes, DJ Shaquille O'Neal. They all had concerts this weekend. I think Keith Urban is having a concert today. I'm not entirely sure the actual
seems like
All-Star
very
game is
out
tonight.
of the demographic of basketball. But
I know. They just throw Keith right in there.
Poor guy.
But yeah, that's pretty much been my week. It's been really fun to see the city get life like this. I love Indianapolis, and I love when other people get to experience it too. The Super Bowl was in Indy back in 2012, I believe it was. It was incredibly successful. And so I'm hoping that, once this weekend is over, that they will say that this was also really successful, because I like it. It's Midwestern, flyover state. A lot of people don't come here. So it's been really fun.
It is fun. It really, I feel like, highlights the importance of these type of events to be hosted in different cities, like the MLB All-Star Game, the Super Bowl. the Super Bowl has actually been here in Phoenix twice since I've lived here. And I
really?
actually went down when I moved here was in 2015. It was here in 2015. And I went downtown and like did a lot of like the Super Bowl experience stuff. And it was really cool, really fun. It was chaotic and like my worst nightmare as far as
of
crowds go, but it was really cool. And I'm sure they did that I think it was last year it was here. Yeah. I went to like one concert that they had going on as like part of the Super Bowl Fan Fest or something they called it. But it is really cool to see like all the stuff that goes on. And especially in cities, like you were saying, that don't get a lot of visitors. I don't know that we necessarily need it here. We have plenty of tourism, but it is really fun.
It's also, for sure. It's also been really cool because Tyrese is such an up and coming superstar, and for it to be in his city, and you know, he got to go out and do all this stuff, and he did so many fan experiences and things. So it's been really fun. The weather was horrible though. I'm gonna be honest. On Friday, it ruined business everywhere. For Friday, we got an unexpected 6 or 7 inches of snow. And I mean, think about the last time we recorded. I was talking about how I was running outside with my animals, and so just out of nowhere, we got all this snow. So the city was just dead on Friday, which was a super bummer. But all day yesterday it was popping, and I'm sure all day today is popping. But yeah, it's been really fun. So hopefully it comes back soon. That's it though. That's all I got. So go back tonight. Got to do it all over again. Going to work the All-Star game tonight. So
you got this.
Maybe you'll get some more celebrity sightings tonight.
Maybe Mario wasn't there last night. Mario the singer. You Should Let Me Love You. Yes, he was just chilling in there.
I loved him.
He ordered chicken tenders and fries, and apparently he was pretty rude to a few people. So
okay. I think you're a little far removed from relevancy to be rude to waitstaff.
Right?
What do I know?
A lot of the younger servers in our restaurant didn't even know who he was, but he looks exactly the same. I will say that. So that was pretty funny. But we've had a lot of athletes and a lot of workers for different teams and things like that. Some actors come in, so it's been fun.
It's so exciting. I love that you're in your basketball girl era.
Yes.
I sure am. Yeah, that's why it's also exciting too. I'm not going to harp on basketball anymore, but Indiana, that's what we do is basketball. And so the Pacers haven't been very good for the last handful of years. So now this is a really, really exciting time, and the city's getting back into the game. And I just love that for me and for us and for the Pacers. They deserve it.
It really is amazing what happens to a city's fan base when they put like a watchable product on the field or on the court. Gosh.
Well, that happened in Nashville with the Preds. Like they got really good and went to the Stanley Cup. Was it like 2017-ish? Was after I moved here, but I feel like that just like created so many new fans, and everyone got so into it after that. And a lot of those fans are still around now, even though they haven't been as great, but it just really sparked something, I think.
It's so much more fun.
I'm a Diamondbacks fan now.
Look at you, yeah.
Talk about bandwagoning all you want, but if you want the people that live in the city to go and support your team, then put something worth watching out there.
Absolutely. So, preach, sister. Preach.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's great to catch up with you girls. We have a very exciting episode today. We're so excited for you all to listen to it. We got to interview our first MLB player. And it's not a secret anymore because it's going to be in the show notes and the title of this episode. But we interviewed Trevor Rosenthal, and you guys are going to listen to that interview here soon. Yeah.
Very, very fun. Shout out to Trevor. He was one of our first I don't want to say first listeners of the show. I guess fans. No, fans is not correct. But he's kind of been with us from the beginning, so it was really, really exciting to have him as our first player guest.
And how it all started was he put a tweet out, 10 things that he learned through playing baseball. And number 10 was that there is crying baseball, and someone tagged us in it. And
that was right when we were starting the podcast too, right? Yeah.
I think we had been on Twitter for a week.
Yeah. Yeah, it was super early.
I think we had just announced it. I don't even think we had an episode. I think we had just announced we were going to be doing it, and then
the timing could not have been more perfect.
It was great.
And then he shared our first episode.
Mm-hmm. So coming full circle, it's only appropriate that he is our first MLB guest, and we had a really, really fun time interviewing him. So you guys, it'll be a good episode to listen to.
Yeah, it was great. So let's get into it. Today, we are overjoyed to introduce our next guest. He was a 2015 All-Star, the Cardinals franchise record holder for saves in a season with 48, the third youngest pitcher in Major League history to have back-to-back 40 save seasons. He was a vital part of the 2013 World Series team. He's a husband, girl dad, friend of the pod, Trevor Rosenthal. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming on.
I'm doing really well. Yeah, I appreciate you guys getting me involved. I love the content. I love the theme.
Yes.
It's a very unique perspective for the game. And like we were talking about, just bringing in the human aspect. And I think a lot of people forget we are just humans, normal people. Absolutely. At the end of the day, happen to have a uniform on that carries a lot of weight and admiration. But yeah, I'm excited to be here and talk to you ladies today. Thanks. It's great to meet all of you.
Yes, you too. Thank you so much for coming. Before we get started, I did find out a little fun fact about you. So I don't know if you know this or not. We thought this was pretty interesting. You were the 2000th player in the Cardinals franchise history, and the Cardinals were the first team in the MLB to have 2,000 players. So you're like the first 2,000th player in all of MLB. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
That is. I knew I was the 2000th player for the Cardinals. I didn't know that was the first organization to have 2,000 players. I did not know that.
Yeah, so you're number one, the whole MLB.
That's special.
Yes. All right, so we like to take things back to the beginning, take it back to where you started. What was your first baseball memory, either as a kid or playing?
Yeah, so my earliest memories would have to be just being in the backyard with my brother and my dad, mainly my brother. My brother and I had countless make-believe games that we would play. He's a younger brother by 4 years, so a lot of those involved me really using my size and strength against him. But we just so many of memories of being in the yard and playing with my brother. One specifically, actually, my grandparents, I was born in Nebraska. All my family's in Nebraska, and we would spend a good part of our summer back in Nebraska with family. And my grandparents had this piece of land, about 5 or 10 acres, and they had just some sports equipment, old sports equipment, probably my dad's equipment from when he was a kid. And we would drag that out when we were in town, and we would go and play these games. And they had this really old wood bat. And for some reason, that just sticks out in my memory when I think about this question. But we would take this bat and we would go out and use like a farm shed as a backstop, and we would pitch to each other and run bases and hit this ball over the fence or into the woods and have to go chase it down. But a lot of, I think, really cool memories that really grew my love and passion for the game. And much like my brother, as I continued to move up in my playing career, that same I guess you could call it just like teammates or just love for other people and enjoying those moments with them, that pleasure continued to go on even to this day.
I love that. Okay, so I know you grew up kind of in the Kansas City area. So were you Royals fans growing up, or what was your favorite team?
Yeah, I grew up a Royals fan for sure. Also, at that time, TV network was a little bit different than it is now. So watched a lot of the Braves on TBS and Cubs on WGN. And I would say also the Cardinals a little bit too. It was the era of Albert Pujols and Mark McGwire. So they were still close to home and had very much an impact on my childhood. Actually, when I first got to the big leagues with St. Louis, Mark McGwire was the hitting coach, which was surreal at the time, becoming friends with him and being around Mark McGwire. I mean, my goodness, what a name.
Yeah.
But that was really special. And then in 2020, actually being able to play for the Kansas City Royals. I remember when I was in high school, specifically going to opening day for the Kansas City Royals my senior year in high school. And at that time thinking like, I might be able to play on this field one day as a player and wear a uniform. So that coming full circle eventually and actually being able to play for the Kansas City Royals was a pretty cool part of my journey as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who would you say are some of your biggest influences that kind of encouraged you or made you decide to play baseball?
Yeah. mean, my parents were a really big part of that. My dad, my mom, can't thank them enough for all the sacrifices and running me around to practices and seeing the ability and the talent that I had at a young age, and then just nourishing that along the way. They, I really just remember my dad taking me to different tryouts for select teams and trying to put me in the best position possible to succeed and to grow my skills, and that ultimately led to me becoming a player with an organization in Kansas City that still exists today. Has grown tremendously since I was a part of it, but it's the Building Champions baseball program, and the head coach, the founder of the organization, Jeremy Jones, was a former professional baseball player, and he had a huge impact on just growing my love and respect and passion for the game as I got into my teenage years. And he actually played a couple of years at the University of Arizona State, and I remember one summer we played in a tournament out in Arizona, and during our day off he took us to Arizona State to tour their facility. And at that time, the head coach was Pat Murphy, and Pat Murphy is now a manager for the Milwaukee Brewers, and I've seen him a few times. Actually, played for the Brewers in 2022, and was able to reconnect with him. But that was a very influential part of my journey as well, being influenced by such a baseball legend like Pat Murphy, and then my dad and Jeremy Jones. So I would say those guys really impacted me and taught me the basics, and laid a really good foundation that allowed me to have a lot of success in the game.
Do you remember when, like, the first time you thought, like, I could play professional baseball? Like, when did that first, like, click in?
Really never. It's like it's still like pinch me. Like, I can't believe I get to do this. This is pretty crazy. I mean, it seems normal because it's my life, but from the outside looking in, when I step back a little bit, it's like, wow, this is amazing. I'll tell you like a funny story. When I was drafted, so going into the draft, it really kind of happened overnight. It wasn't something that I was expecting to happen. And the day I got drafted, I was working a summer job for a landscape company in Kansas City, and we were mulching a parking lot for a grocery store. If you're familiar, it's like a Price Chopper parking lot. So I'm in the back of this mulch truck, shoveling mulch into wheelbarrows so we can do all the mulch beds. And I had my shirt off. I'm in the back of this mulch truck. I get a call from somebody with the St. Louis Cardinals telling me, "Hey, we're gonna draft you. We'll call you back and let you know more about the details." So I answer the phone, get the information, hang up, and I tell some of the guys that I'm working with, like, "Hey, I just got drafted for the MLB," and they're like, "Okay, cool. Like, put your shirt on." I get back to work.
We don't care.
Don't care right now.
Not like, kind of a weird moment, but as that reality started to set in, I'm thinking, okay, like, I'm going to St. Louis. Like, I'm going to go play for the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, not quite. Like, I was sent down to the lowest level of the minor leagues, the Gulf Coast League, where this Cardinal spring training is in South Florida. So that was a little bit of the reality set in. I wasn't going straight to St. Louis. It was going to take some time to get there. But no, to answer your question, it's one of those things where every day you show up and get to play in a major league ballpark. It's pretty surreal.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Amazing that you have that mentality still, though. I don't know that there's a lot of players that necessarily do. You kind of take it for granted. You think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think it comes and goes. I think there's moments where you become accustomed to the lifestyle and to the opportunity, and then in my journey, I mean, there's times where it's through injuries or whatever you have it gets taken away, and you realize how special it is and how hard it is and to play at that level.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome. All right, you are a certified girl dad. You've got 3 little girls. Have you gotten to share any special moments around the game with them? Do they know their dad's a professional baseball player? What do they feel about that?
Yeah, that's I don't They're getting older now. They were really young throughout most of my career, so now they're starting to realize it more. And I think they think it's cool because their friends tell them it's cool. They just look at me like dad.
Yeah.
They probably don't understand really what it means to be a Major League Baseball player exactly. That's probably one of the things I'm fortunate that we had our kids really young. My first daughter was born in 2013. That was my first full season in the major leagues. So they've been along for the whole ride, which for my wife and I is like a big part of why we love baseball, and it's been a part of our family since day one, and specifically St. Louis. I mean, all three of our daughters were born in St. Louis.
Oh wow.
Oh, nice.
They were born during the season, so it was after a game, rushing to the hospital,
Yeah.
and being is just part of the baseball world. And probably the coolest memory in 2013, my first daughter Chloe. When she was born, we went to the World Series that year. So she was born in late September, middle September. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, going into the playoffs, she was there. Like she was in Boston, wrapped up in the freezing cold in the stands. And we have some really cute videos of her after the game, throughout the night, just all bundled up, cooing like a little cute baby girl. And obviously she had no idea what was going on, but those are the memories that I'll definitely cherish forever.
Of course. Oh my gosh, that's so
so special.
wonderful. Yes,
That
thank
is.
you for sharing that with us. So this question might be a little bit tougher. If you had to pick one moment, one pitching moment that you are the most proud of, regardless of the age, whatever.
Oh, regardless of age.
Yeah.
Man.
The most proud, that makes you the most proud.
Well, there's a lot of answers, I think, to that. I love winning, and I'm a very much like a team-oriented guy. And fortunately, we won a lot of games, even through my college career, minor league career, and even the major league career. So those moments are always awesome. In 2013, going to the World Series, I was on the mound to get the last out of the NLCS to send us the World Series, and seeing the guys rush out of the dugout and celebrate on the field. That was extremely special. I had a save in the World Series that year. I got a win in the World Series that year. So those moments, hard to replicate, and you never know when you're going to have a chance to do those things again. And then in 2015, when I made the All-Star team, that was really cool. But even more special, I think, that year I was voted. I had the most votes by players to be voted in to make the All-Star team. So that to me was even like even more special, just being recognized by your peers. And as you know, so the guys at that level, they're the best in the world, and for them to think that highly of you is really special.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
So obviously, as Cardinal fans, we think Busch is iconic. But what's been your favorite ballpark that you've played in?
Yeah, Busch is iconic, and we were talking about this a little bit before, but you get spoiled as a player, and showing up every day at Busch Stadium. You start to, when people ask that question, your mind kind of goes to the other stadiums, but I'd be remiss to say, like, Busch Stadium is beautiful. Everybody that comes into play talks about how much they enjoy it. I think that has a lot to do not only with the city and the ballpark itself, but the fans. The fans show up every single day, rain or shine, day game, night game, weekday. The house is packed and they're passionate, so that makes it very enjoyable for us to do our job out on the field. Other than that, I mean, playing in the major leagues, there's no bad stadium. Everywhere you go, it's unique. It's the best of the best. The cities are very they all have something to offer that is different from a different city, whether it's the food or the culture. And all of the stadiums, I would say, have especially as a bullpen pitcher. I did a little bit of a thread on this on Twitter. I need to cap it off and do the rest of the bullpens. I've pitched in every single current major league stadium, but as a bullpen pitcher, you get to see the ins and outs a little bit more. And a lot of the time is because the bullpen, as you know, is in a unique part of the stadium, and there's different ways to get there, whether it's on the field or through the concourse, or underneath the stadium through the tunnels. But that gives me a little bit of inside information on what's going on behind the scenes. Where's the food made? Where are the workers hanging out? But I also really enjoy playing at Dodger Stadium. Just the atmosphere, everything from the weather in California is always amazing. They do a great job with their music, the Jumbotron, and then the celebrities that you'll see at the game, especially as a young player from, as I mentioned, from Nebraska, from Kansas City, and seeing these people that I've watched on TV show up at these games to watch us play is hard to wrap your mind around and comprehend. But that was always a fun time, and we've upset some really some spectacular rosters that are constructed out in LA. So if those games would have went a different direction, my answer might be a little bit different.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of bullpens in different stadiums that you've played in, I do want to do a throwback to a segment we had on here. Do you remember being in Arizona in 2016 and having a creepy girl over the bullpen taking a million pictures of you? Did you ever feel that presence at all?
I mean,
that's probably
every year other than 2016.
Yeah.
that happens. I think it's that's a fun thing to be involved in, especially in the early innings when I'm not like dialed into the game and starting to prepare to interact with the fans and have that more of like a personal experience with fans. But I probably do remember that, to be honest, because those I think they're so cool because you feel like a zoo animal to some extent. You're like, people are coming up and we're caged in, you can't get out, and they just want to see like what's going on, what are these guys doing, and so I've had some characters in the bullpen, and the responses that they have to some of the fans at times is you never know what's going to happen. But
so we did share a little bit before we recorded about how I became a Cardinals fan. I don't think I had mentioned to you that I was living in Alaska when I became a Cardinals fan. And so that was my very first time ever seeing the Cardinals play in person after all those years of being a fan. So that was like why I was so extra starstruck, but also, I had to get my pictures of my favorite players. So
yeah, you have to. I would be the same way.
Yeah. All right. So I'm sure you get asked a lot about what it was like to pitch to Yadi. I'm sure that's just a common question. But what are your thoughts on his new role with the Cardinals in his like front office advisor position?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's really hard for guys to make that transition. I know the Cardinals do a really good job of trying to keep those I mean, Yadi's a walking statue at this point, but guys that have meant so much to the organization and really know what the culture stands for, to keep them involved in some capacity. But I hope that they can continue to keep him around because he has so much to offer and he really knows. I don't think there's a player that knows the Cardinals organization any better. Talk about Cardinal baseball, and I think Yadier Molina is synonymous with that term. But to describe Yadi in one word, like he's a winner. Like he just wants to win at everything he does, and we've seen that with his other ventures in basketball and other teams that he's involved with. But I think it's going to be important for the organization going forward to really lean on him as much as they can, and hopefully he can find the time to continue to invest into the city.
His team just won the Puerto Rican League too, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. I saw that. It's just no surprise watching him in the WBC, watching him in the Dominican Winter League. I mean, he just wins, and he has that impact on a player. And this is what I say all the time when people ask me about Yadi. It's like, yeah, he when I first came up, and for a lot of young players, he can be intimidating, but you quickly realize like there's no person that you would want to be working with more than Yadier Molina. As intimidating he is, and as big of a personality as he has, he is always working to win, and he's going to help you in that regard. So he's very important for the game.
If you look in your crystal ball, sorry.
Oh no,
I think we're asking the same thing.
I think we're literally going to ask the same question. I was going to ask, do you potentially see him being a full-time manager in the future? Is what I was going to ask.
Yeah,
I could see it. I could 100% see it. I know being a manager can be difficult, but there's no obstacle that Yachty can't overcome or he wouldn't be able to handle. I'm not advocating for the dismissal of Oliver Marmol.
Oh, no,
like, I'm
of
a
course.
big fan of Ollie.
Of
He's a
course
good
not.
friend, so I have to like put that out there. But I think Ollie would agree also that Yachty is a tremendous asset.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, we asked the one Yachty question, so now we have to ask one question about Adam Wainwright. I don't know if you have heard, he is a budding country star. How do you feel about that? Have you listened to any of his music?
Yeah, I love this question. I actually saw Adam a couple weeks ago, but I would say it's interesting to hear him talk about it because you as a professional athlete, people ask us all the time, and especially in my case being a closer, like when you get on the field, like how is that in front of thousands of people, 10,000s of people watching? Do you get nervous? And you're like, well, not really, like to some extent, but at the same time we've practiced so much that it's just kind of innate and muscle memory. But hearing Adam, when you ask him about music, he's like, man, before I go on stage, like I get so nervous. He gets overwhelmed. He's like, I don't ever feel that way pitching, but I'm feeling it now with these stage performances. So,
and there's probably so many more people when he's pitching than at these performances, I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. I would hope so. I mean, he can't be that good, right?
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
Give him a few years.
No, he is good. He helped me. We would play guitar on the road, and he got me interested in learning how to play guitar. So after games, we would hang out in our hotel rooms and sing songs and play guitar. So to see him having this kind of segue off of all that work he's done over the years behind the scenes is, I mean, just a big testament to like, if you're passionate about anything and you put in the work, like it can happen. So I'm really happy to see what a better guy for this to happen to. So it's fun.
Yeah. All right. We have a big debate on our show, and we have to ask everyone that comes on, how do you take your glizzy, which I learned last year is a hot dog?
That's funny. So yeah, that's a good question. And I don't feel like I didn't really think about it because I have it the same way all the time. I have ketchup, mustard, and I like to have relish too. Relish is like, it's not always available, especially at my house, because I think I'm the only one right now with 3 young kids that really love relish. But I that's kind of how I consume food overall. Is I like everything, so I load it up. But yeah.
Do you like sweet relish or dill relish?
Ooh, probably sweet relish.
Okay.
I like both. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Going back to my grandparents had a garden on that piece of land, and so my grandpa would make relish, and all the ingredients came from the garden.
Oh gosh, I'm sure that was much better than what you could get at the store, though.
It was good. Yeah, so good. I found a couple that have a similar taste to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, he's Team Sarah. That is how I also take my glizzy. So.
Oh, perfect. What about Rachel and Haley? What are their preferences?
Just ketchup and mustard for me, and I'm good otherwise. But I love a ballpark hot dog.
Yes.
I get attacked for mine constantly, but I eat mine plain. Just hot dog and bread. Yeah.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I hate ketchup and I hate mustard, so I just eat
There's
it plain.
people like dip it in like soda or like a beer. I've seen that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now that's a whole new level
at all. Yeah.
Like nacho cheese, maybe.
Yeah, I could do that.
Cheese.
I could do some cheese.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I could see cheese.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try it.
It's kind of like a Bloody Mary. Like you can just like stack stuff on it that doesn't make sense.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I know. There's a place I go to out here. This guy has like a truck. He just parks in front of a bar and he'll make hot dogs for people that are, tying one on. And it comes with like a pickle, but it's like a full pickle spear. So it doesn't even go on the hot dog. It just goes like next to it. But I'm all for it. Put everything on there. Load it up.
One of my favorite restaurants in Cincinnati is called Senate, and it is like a big hot dog place, but it's just, they throw a whole bunch of stuff on it. So like, for example, they have a Korean dog and it has like kimchi and pickled veggies and onions on it, and it is so good. So if you're ever
that sounds good,
definitely check it out. They have a bunch of different kinds. Yes, it's delicious.
Wait, so speaking of food, what about barbecue? What's your favorite city's barbecue? Do you have a favorite?
So my husband is from North Carolina,
Okay.
so if I say anything other than North Carolina barbecue, he might divorce me. So I'm
Okay.
definitely gonna go with that.
All right. I haven't had North Carolina barbecue, but now I
haven't
need to
either.
try it.
I
His
haven't either.
dad
I
makes
have
the best.
Okay. I could see
I
that.
have never been to Kansas City, and that's all I hear about is Kansas
Yeah.
City barbecue. So I'm gonna have to go sometime. St. Louis, though, they have
Pretty
some
good.
pretty good barbecue. Salt and Smoke is so delicious. I go there every
Yep.
time I'm in St. Louis.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a preference. I don't think I have a very refined palate, which is why I like so many foods. So if you give me barbecue, I'm going to eat it and like it.
You
So
also are from Alaska and live in
Yes.
Arizona, so you
I
really
know.
haven't had the experience.
Real authentic barbecue. That's
Yeah.
a good point. Yes. What about you, Trevor? What's your favorite barbecue style?
Yeah, growing up in Kansas City, a lot of great barbecue, and then spending a lot of time in St. Louis, amazing barbecue there. But we moved to Houston, Texas
Oh, yeah.
about
Okay.
8-9 months ago, and Texas barbecue is very good. I've been impressed.
Yeah.
So that's working its way up my favorite chart right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have never been to Texas. I'll have to add that to my list too.
Yes.
Yeah, Texas barbecue. It's Texas food. Houston is a interesting city. I'm still exploring. There's a lot to explore, but
Yeah.
I've heard really good things about the food scene.
Yeah. I think Houston and Austin both are kind of like very trending upward with like popularity and fun things. So I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a lot. All right. So there is crying in baseball. We like to talk about our crying moments, whether that's crying tears of happiness, sadness, joy, excitement, frustration, anything. What would you say is your top crying moment from your career?
Oh, top one? That's hard.
Or a couple. If you need to throw a couple in there, you can.
Yeah.
Makes it easier.
Well, there's been a lot of emotional moments. There was in 2015 when we lost the NLDS to the Chicago Cubs that year. I remember coming into the clubhouse and we were all, it's hard when you lose, especially in the postseason. And had a teammate, not to throw him on the bus, but Stephen Piscotty. He's like a really good friend.
We love Steven.
Yeah, and his locker was before they renovated the clubhouse, so the clubhouse was really small, and his locker was like right across from mine, and he was taking it really hard, and so that to me, I was like emotional just to see like another guy, and it's the end of the season, and
of course.
all of our hopes and dreams just crushed, and so that one, and even another Piscotty moment when we were in Pittsburgh and he collided with Peter Borges in center field.
Oh, yeah.
That was a pretty emotional time and that happened right in front of the bullpen. So we all saw it happen in real speed, and it was really scary. And so those couple of days were pretty emotional dealing with that. But then like on a more positive note, the Matt Holliday's last season in St. Louis, I remember is I think like second to last at bat, and he came up late, and the standing ovation. He was kind of like crying, and he hits a home run, and rounding the bases, like you could tell he was choked up, and it was really hard, even today, like watching replays of it, to not get emotional about those moments.
Yep.
I know you're good friends with him, but the name Matt Holliday, I think just saying it makes me cry. Like he makes me so emotional.
Yeah, we
almost more than anybody else. I couldn't agree more with that one.
He's amazing. And then now we're still really close, and him and his wife have been amazing to us. When my wife and I first came up with St. Louis, they took us in and kind of looked out for us and mentored us along the way. But even this past year, watching his oldest son Jackson Holliday get drafted, I remember watching that, and that was like, wow, like this is a kid that I would basically babysit while Matt was taking batting practice, and we would play catch in the outfield and practice robbing homers in all these stadiums. And to see him now all grown up and turning into a young man, it's like, oh man, so many.
And you just went to his wedding. How was his wedding?
His wedding was amazing. Yeah, thanks for asking. He he's always been like the mature person. I joke around like when I would come over and hang out with them, like his siblings Ethan and Grayson, we'd all be roughhousing and playing around. I feel like Jackson was babysitting us instead of me being in charge, and so it's not any surprise that he's moving into marriage and doing all the things he's doing in baseball. But it was a special time to be with their family, and then all of our friends that were around for all of those years. A lot of teammates that we spent time with Jackson and watched him grow up, and we're all still close to this day. So it was fun to have almost like a little reunion.
Yeah.
It looked like a fun crew there. Yeah, for sure.
Pictures. We loved it.
Yeah, it was fun. It made us like miss being together, like
right. Of course.
Those bonds and those friendships. And that's the hard part about baseball is we spend so much time together and we become really close, become like family, and then everybody kind of goes their separate ways. And everybody lives in a different city and has lives of their own. But it made us really remember and reflect on good times and think like, how can we get together more often? Like we love each other.
We need more people get married. More
exactly. Yeah. But all the dads with little kids like, no, not too soon. Like no more weddings.
Please wait a while.
That's so funny. Okay, so we talked about your top crying moment of your career. So what would you say your top or a couple of your top crying moments as a baseball fan?
Yeah, that's a tough one. You mentioned 2011. I was in the Cardinals minor leagues at that time, and I wouldn't say that was like a crying moment, but one that definitely stands out as a fan, and especially being at that time maybe 20 years old and watching the Cardinals go on that run and then ultimately win the World Series. Very memorable. And then again, another Cardinal moment in 2022 when I was with the Milwaukee Brewers. We were actually in town playing the Cardinals, and from the dugout, I saw Pujols hit 2 home runs against us, which being on the other team, like not really rooting for that, but realizing how special of a moment that was in history and for Albert. That was, I mean, just an amazing moment. Very emotional to watch an icon like Albert Pujols hit one into Big Mac land and round the bases right in front of me. And, just going back to my childhood and the opportunities that I've been afforded to, and then to be in the dugout and watch something like that happen was very special.
It's really cool.
I know.
You asked.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my fault.
All right, we have one quick little game. It's going to be rapid fire, this or that. So we're going to give you 2 options. You tell us which one you prefer.
Okay.
So first up, bat flip or no bat flip?
I'm torn. I'll go fast. I'll say no bat flip.
Okay. Are you pro wave or no wave?
Wave.
Oh, okay. Rachel, how do you feel about that?
Not very well. I despise the wave. I'm going to be honest with you. I despise it.
All right. High socks or long pants?
High socks.
Nice.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Day game or night game?
Night game.
Okay. Ballpark hot dog or helmet nachos?
Ballpark hot dog.
And last one that we got pitcher's duel or slugfest?
Pitcher's duel, 100%.
Absolutely.
Which is, those are good questions, though. I'll go back to the bat flip or no bat flip. I think I would like to say bat flip because I love the direction and the energy that the game has taken. But I come from like an old school mentality, like coming up and being next to Chris Carpenter and really admiring his work, admiring guys like Roger Clemens and Nolan Ryan. And I think that's been a part of my game. I'm very like stoic and just go out there, do my job, have respect for everybody. So I think I'd have to say no bat flip in that case, but I don't mind it. Like it's fun to watch the game, let the kids play, all that kind of stuff.
You're just not going to do it yourself.
Especially as a pitcher, like home runs, there's something about it. Like I don't give up a lot of home runs, so that's a good thing because it just makes me have so much anger when someone hits a home run off of me. Like I feel myself just wanting to tackle them as they run around the bases. And I know I can't, but I don't know. Nothing else does that like a home run, and seeing a
Right.
guy just take his time, run around the bases, it's infuriating.
So how do you feel about like I feel like it's become a trend in more recent years of like someone rounding the bases and doing some type of like gesture to the other team. Like there was the rocking the baby thing. I can't remember the other one. Someone was like pointing at somebody else. I can't remember what the other ones were.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like, I think it's fine, but like I would never do it. And I feel like it's just like asking for it.
Yeah.
Like
For sure.
at that level, I'm not trying to give anybody any more motivation to do something versus like in a competition than what they're already motivated to do.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I know, like, as a competitor, when you get a little bit of adrenaline rush, when you have anger, it helps with your performance. And then besides that, like I'm not creative enough to come up with like the Euro
Right.
step celebration around third, and I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It's a lot to remember, a lot to think about.
I know.
It's true.
I think
But
I
it's
would
fun.
like
Like it's fun to watch. So
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
mind it.
All right, we have one last question. In conclusion to everything we've talked about, do you think there is crying in baseball?
100%. I think on so many different levels, whether, a fan, player, I mean, even I think about my wife. I mean, the moments and hearing her talk about how emotional she is watching me and the nerves. It is, I think, in our culture, really speaks to that. And that's why sports are so popular, is we can really resonate and we can all have this common interest in, if it's a team or an organization or city or whatever you have it. But yeah, I think there's a lot of that goes into it, more than just the players on the field. There's history and family, generational interest and time invested, and so it is very emotional. And I can speak from experience in being in the bullpen. I talked about it a little bit, but I've developed relationships with people, whether it's the paramedics or the police officers in the bullpen, the grounds crew, the support staff that are running food from downstairs up into the concourse. And you get to know these people, and you quickly realize there's so many other people other than the players that are making this engine run, and they're all when your performance on the field has an impact on more people that are in that clubhouse. So yeah, my appreciation has really grown for the game in that regard, and understanding how important it is. And even when little kids come up to us and ask for an autograph, like that, I think puts it all into perspective of like, yeah, I'm Trevor, but like this uniform that I'm wearing signifies so much more and represents so much more. So to really take that platform and use it for good and wear the uniform with pride, I think it's been an amazing journey, and I can't think of any other thing that I would have rather have done than baseball for these past few years.
Thank you.
Such a good perspective to have.
It is, yeah. And I think now, like, that's the fun part about being like the veteran player and passing along some of those traditions, and talking about Yadi, Daniel Descalzo now, and bringing back Carp and Lance Lynn. I think all those things are really important to continue on and to pass those traditions on to the next generation of players.
For sure.
Some of my favorite guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah.
I've been like shamelessly plugging recently, like, hey, like I'll be ready in June. So
yes.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
getting the gang back together.
Yes,
Let's go.
let's
That'd
do
be
it.
so fun.
We are all in, baby.
Yes.
All
Okay,
in.
here we go.
Tell Ollie that he has our support, and that's all that matters.
Haley and I met Ollie last year. We're friends
did.
of the pod. We'll just chat with him and we'll just let him know.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us today. We appreciate it so very, very much.
Yeah, keep up the great work. I think you guys are doing an awesome job, and I love seeing all the stuff that you guys put out there. Obviously, I'm biased towards the St. Louis Cardinals, but big fan of the pod, and I think you guys have created a cool little perspective on baseball, but especially St. Louis Cardinals baseball.
Thank you so much.
Thank
That means
you
so much.